Dr. Jerome, members of the Board of Education, South Middle School graduates, parents, staff, and family members, welcome to the 2014 graduation ceremony for South Middle School. It is an honor and privilege to be standing before you this evening. We know that this is a very special night for all of us in attendance, and we are about to recognize an amazing group of young adults and celebrate their numerous accomplishments at South Middle School. Thank you for all of your efforts in supporting our 8th grade students. At this time, I must ask that all cell phones be turned off. I would like to introduce the members of the Student Council Executive Board as well, who will represent the class of 2014 this evening. Derek Prusner is our Student Council President, and Tess Trochik is our Student Council Vice President. Would you please come up and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Could everybody please stand for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
One of our numerous traditions that we have at South Middle School is the opportunity for members of our graduating class to address their peers and our distinguished guests. We are incredibly fortunate to have 3 speakers this evening: Abigail Flagg, Patrick Kelly Dutile, and Taylor Chantry. Abigail Flagg will be our first speaker tonight. Abigail, will you please come forward?
I spent an hour in my bedroom, staring at the wall with a blank sheet of paper in front of me, trying to decide what sentimental quote to use in my speech. Then I realized that there's no way to fit my middle school experience into a quote. So next I started to research graduation speeches, and the first one that popped up was a speech made by Bill Gates. He gave a graduation speech that focused on his 12 life hints. Now, I'm no Bill Gates, but I think we all have a few rules that have gotten us through middle school and will hopefully guide us through high school too. Here are mine. Rule number 1. Although you may think that you can fool the teachers by looking up clever homework answers on Google or Wikipedia, chances are that they already know it and will not find your homework any more impressive. I understand that it is tempting to turn to Google when your mom tells you that she will be absolutely no help on homework. However, the teachers could always tell when we didn't put in any effort. As my Italian teacher said, "Guys, I know when you use Google Translate, so just don't do it." The teachers knew we would not learn anything by using the internet to find the answers, so they were there to help us learn the material, and they were almost always willing to stay after school to help us make progress and overcome our learning problems. By the way, teachers do not consider Wikipedia or Google reliable sources, therefore I suggest you do not cite them in research papers. In high school, you could get points off, and in college, you could get an F. Rule number 2, Do not take everything you are told at face value. Question, investigate, challenge. When the seniors try to sell you an elevator pass, well, I'll save you the trouble of investigating. They're free in the office. And for those of you going to Prospect, there's no pool on the roof, so don't go looking for one when the upperclassmen try to send you there. You see, the scientific process really is useful. This is where I thank our social studies and science teachers. By having us do those fun CERs and meet cons, we learned how to create a claim, research and find evidence to support our claim, and then connect our evidence back to our claim, giving the so what's and why does this matter. I used to think that those 5-page CERs and meet cons were just time killers. I'd figured that our teachers had run out of material to teach us for the unit. But in reality, they are teaching us how to evaluate all of our evidence before coming up with a solution or answer to the problem or question at hand. Coming into 6th grade, I would accept a statement someone told me without challenging whether or not they were true. I would have used this statement in a paper if they seemed sure that they were correct. After 1 year of getting points off for misinformed facts, I learned that before I accepted something to be true, I needed to research and find evidence to support my statement. So even though at the time those long CERs and meet cons seemed absolutely pointless, every single one of them had a purpose. Rule number 3, high school teachers will not be as forgiving as our middle school teachers were. Let's face it, they'll be there to prepare us for college. Assignments will be due on the due date, no exceptions. They won't be as concerned with the fact that we're up all night at practices, studying, or even doing homework, and there probably won't be many chances to redo tests. I can pretty much guarantee you that the high school teachers do not coordinate with each other so that we don't get overwhelmed with too much homework in one night. But we don't need to worry about this because South has prepared us. The South teachers have nurtured and cared for us. They've guided us towards independence by teaching us how to be responsible and organized. For example, remember those binders that every teacher in every class made us set up in a particular way? Well, that, believe it or not, helped us to improve our organizational skills. And those assignment notebooks, which, when used for their intended purpose, not doodling, helped us to improve our time management skills. But before going into high school, we need to make the conscious decision to want to do well in school and to want to put effort into school. It will no longer be up to our parents and our teachers to make sure we have our assignments done on time. We are a part of the future generation, and it is time for us to start thinking about our futures as soon as we get into high school. It will not be a cakewalk. There will be ups and there will be downs, but thanks to South, we'll be prepared for this. As we leave South behind, we will always have our memories and our friends. Everything that has happened at South has helped to prepare us for high school and life outside of school. So here's my last rule. Step outside of your comfort zone. High school will present us with so many new opportunities, and we must embrace them. We will be moving on to face new experiences, but thanks to South, we'll know how to deal with them as they come. And even though lots of us will be going our separate ways tonight to attend different schools, we will always be able to take pride in the fact that we were and will always have been South Cardinals. Thank you.
Patrick Kelly Dutile, will you please come forward?
Teachers, staff, families, friends, graduating class of 2014. Before I start, I'd like to thank all of you for taking the time out of your busy lives to come here. This is no small occasion, and we should recognize it for what it is. Elementary school, middle school, high school, college. All of these things are phases in life. And pretty soon, we'll be moving on to the high school phase, a time of more freedom, more responsibility, more homework, and driver's ed. Yikes. But for now, we're still in the middle school phase. And since it's drawing to a close, it's time to look back. When I think of my 3 years here at South, I think of a lot of things. I think of the teachers, the homework, the friends, the disappointing lack of recess, and the lunches. Now, when legend had it when we first came here that the lunches were immaculate. that pizza and smoothies and hot pretzels were served every day. And they were. It was a blessing. Just like the lunches, so many other things were different when we came here to South. Even the name seemed giant. South Middle School, 3 whole words. It was a mouthful. And the transition from 1 or possibly 2 floors, moving up to 3 floors, was mind-blowing. But within about 2 weeks, that giant school felt like home. Now, I think of middle school as a roller coaster. 6th grade is the beginning, the slow climb up the very steep hill, and everyone's reminding you to buckle up for the giant drop ahead. Everyone's a bit nervous starting out. No one's quite sure of him or herself. 7th grade is the middle part of that roller coaster. It has its ups and downs, and the roller coaster car is starting to accelerate. One of the ups for probably everybody was going to Laredo Taft. I remember how uneasy everyone was during cross country. Now, most of you probably have no idea what I'm talking about, so let me explain really quickly. Cross country is an activity in which teams of students make their way through the woods, acting as species of animals, and they have to find food and water, which are really just hole punches hidden throughout the trees. Now, all the while, teachers are hiding in the tree line with water guns, using this activity as a lame excuse to absolutely drench that one kid they don't like. At the end of the activity, the students who unfortunately got doused, their species went extinct. This is a fine example of teachers passing off torture as education, like sentence diagramming or parabolas. I think it's fair to say that Mrs. Weiss gave everyone nightmares for a week afterwards. 8th grade is the last part of that roller coaster ride. You're just coasting to the end of the line. It's kind of depressing knowing that this is your last year, but it's also arguably the most enjoyable year. You're the big kids. Everyone looks up to you. Sure, the attention is great, but you have the responsibility of being an example for all the kids in the grades below you. I bet everyone remembers walking through the doors for one last year here at South. But that one year went so fast, and now we're here. It just flew by. Time flies when you're having fun, they say. I disagree. That was not very fun. Kidding. Okay. Although Mrs. Marusek made us write a lot of scientific explanations and Mr. Lendy's puns were beyond terrible, this was a great year. I'll never forget it. But now it's time to go our separate ways. Some of us will go to Prospect, some here, Rolling Meadows, some to St. Viator, others to who knows where. But hopefully we can all still keep in touch through phones, email, and social media. I know I speak for all of the 8th grade class when I say that I'd like to thank Mr. Chung, Ms. Chin, Mr. Larson, and all the teachers. And as all of us, the graduating class, South Middle School 2014, move on to that high school phase, I know we're all prepared for what lies ahead. And I know that we'll always preserve the wisdom we gained here at South. We're now ready to take on high school, an entire new roller coaster. It's taller, steeper, faster, and scarier, but it's going to be worth it. If we put in the effort, high school is going to reward us. However, always remember this. If at first you don't succeed, don't try skydiving. Thank you.
Taylor Chantry, will you please come forward?
Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger, a brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I am not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will live as one. From John Lennon. Here we are, the graduating class of 2014, counting the minutes until we are officially going to be considered freshmen. But what if we just sat back and took some time to imagine? We are not going to imagine high school being terrifying. how many friends we are going to miss, or how awful this goodbye really could be. We are going to imagine this power, a power that is stronger than anything we have ever seen. For what feels like endless days of middle school, this power has grown inside of each and every one of us. This power is now in your own hands. Take this power and change someone's life, change the world, make a difference, and be a difference. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. For these past 3 years at South, I cannot tell you how many times we have been reminded to make a difference. On our very first day of 8th grade, Mr. Lendy stood in front of us, a group of students who, honestly, were not paying attention and who were busy reuniting with friends we hadn't seen all summer. But when Mr. Lendy asked us a question we had never really been asked before, silence covered us like a blanket. Did you make a difference today? Who? Us? Making differences in the world? Imagine yourself making the world a better place. For some, it seems impossible, something to laugh at. But every day in home base, we talked about treating others the way you wanted to be treated and how to make a beneficial difference in someone's life. Imagine bringing a smile to someone's face just by helping them out in their times of trouble. And in those endless running days, we were told that they were a time of focus, a time to run seriously, where we should not be talking. But if we saw someone running by themselves and looking lonely, we would jog over and say, hey, let's run seriously together, whatever that really means. Imagine bringing a smile to someone's face when your actions always reminded them that they had a friend, no matter what. But still, for some of us, making a difference seemed too hard, and we rendered it impossible. Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger, a brotherhood of man. We moved on from just being reminded of differences we could make to actually applying small ones that could erupt into something bigger. We donated thousands of canned goods to stock the food pantries and support the less fortunate. Imagine how thankful all of those families would be. We traveled to feed my starving children and packed food boxes to donate to starving kids across the world. Imagine the looks on those kids' faces when they saw that people they had never even met before still cared about them. And in this past showdown, we raised money for research for rare diseases for people in our community. Imagine all of the support those families and children would feel. But how could we make a difference? I hope someday you'll join us and the world will live as one. We've learned things here at South that actually can be used to make a difference, as truly surprising as that is. We've talked about earth science, plate tectonics, and earthquakes. And perhaps by using this new information, we can learn how to predict natural disasters sooner. Imagine how many lives would be saved and how grateful all of those people would be. We've talked about DNA, and maybe we can even cure and prevent diseases. Imagine thousands of people who can now live their lives happy and healthy without worry. We have learned how to voice our opinions, stand up for what we believe in, and even how to find the area of a trapezoid, A equals 1/2 A plus B times H. And those things in themselves can change the world. So maybe not the area of a trapezoid, but you could come close, you never know. Imagine standing in front of hundreds, inspiring them to make a difference just like you have. We must always remember what John Lennon once said. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I am not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us. and the world will live as one. We can spend this graduation in tears, sadly reminiscing and saying goodbye. Or we can walk up and receive our diplomas with our heads held high, smiles wide, preparing for our new journey. I'm not saying that you will leave here today and find the cure for cancer tomorrow, but that in time, we will be the difference this world has been waiting to see. We will provide help to the helpless, hope to the hopeless, and we will even reach out to those who thought they were truly unreachable. And for those of you who are still wondering how you can make a difference in this world, I can tell you right now that you have made a difference. You have provided food to the hungry, support for those who have given up, and you have even offered up a smile to someone who was in desperate need of one. You are a difference this world has been waiting to see. Imagine someone who is so strong, someone who would put anyone's needs before their own, and who would give anything to see the world become a better place. That person is you. So, my fellow Cardinals, what I ask of you is one thing. Never forget that you have this intense power in your hands to change the world, and that you can do anything you can put your mind to, anything you can imagine. And never forget where you received this ability to imagine, right in the hallways of our old home, South Middle School.
South Middle School has a reputation of having a phenomenal wind ensemble. We are incredibly fortunate to Mrs. L leading this group out. The wind ensemble students have selected to perform Beyond the River Bend by Robert Sheldon. Robert Sheldon is one of the most performed composers of the wind band music today. A recipient of numerous awards from the American School Band Directors Associations, Phi Beta Mu, and the American Society of Composers, Authors, and Publishers, his compositions embody a level of expression that resonates with ensembles and audiences alike. His music is performed around the world and appears on many international concert and contest lists. Mrs. L, would you please lead the wind ensemble at this juncture?
We are incredibly fortunate to have two members of the Board of Education with us this evening. Would you please join me in recognizing Board of Education President David Page and Board of Education member Dr. Denise Glasgow. Thank you for your service to the community.
Dr. Sarah Jerome has done a magnificent job of leading our school district and has helped our school district create a dynamic vision. This will also be Dr. Jerome's last opportunity to address our 8th grade graduates as she prepares to retire at the end of this school year. Please join me in giving her a round of applause. Dr. Jerome, will you please come forward to address our graduates and our distinguished guests?
Thank you very much. Good evening. It is a great pleasure to greet you tonight and to bring you congratulations from the entire Arlington Heights school community of 750 staff members and our elected school board members. In addition, this is a great occasion for thanking your excellent and caring teachers, your hardworking and dedicated principals, and of course your parents. You and I share some experiences in common. We are both graduating to something new and different. We are both experiencing the transitions and challenges that come with change. And as we look back on these past 8 or 9 years that we have attended District 25 together, we look with deep gratitude to this caring community that supports these excellent schools, the caring and remarkable teachers and principals, and friends that make every day so very special. Yes, you and I have much to be grateful for in our experiences in District 25. And as we look forward, I'd like to leave you with 2 guarantees for your future success. A few of you may have heard me say this before. It's easy to remember. You've heard this term a lot, PR. You might think it stands for public relations, but the PR I'm talking about stands for P, persistence, and R, resilience. Keep those letters in mind as you take the next steps forward, and I feel absolutely confident that you will reach your every goal. So here we go, both of us, you and I, to new and great places, greatly appreciating our past in District 25 and anticipating with courage and enthusiasm, as well as PR, persistence and resilience, a bright future. Thank you so very much and congratulations.
At this time, we will be asking that Mrs. Chin and Mr. Larson present a variety of special awards. Our students have worked diligently to attain these awards, and we are extremely proud to recognize the next group of students for their accomplishments while at South Middle School. Mrs. Chin and Mr. Larson, will you please come forward?
Good evening. The first award we are going to present is the Peterson Spirit Award. The Peterson Spirit Award is given to the 8th grade student who, in the opinion of the staff, demonstrated positive qualities in all of the following areas: academic achievement, citizenship and positive attitude, and participation in different extracurricular activities. We are pleased this evening to present this year's Peterson Spirit Award to Billy Pizarros. The next award is the Jennifer Malloy Achievement Award. The Jennifer Malloy Achievement Award is presented to the 8th grade student that best exemplifies the determination and courage to reach seemingly unattainable goals by a student or an athlete. This evening, we are happy to present the Jennifer Malloy Achievement Award to Drew Kay.
The final award we are presenting tonight is the Matthew Ives Strength of Character Award. The Matthew Ives Strength of Character Award is presented to the 8th grade student who has facilitated the social acceptance of all students through a positive and friendly personality. This student exemplifies honesty, responsibility, and good sportsmanship while also achieving high academic standards. This award is unique in that the recipient of this award is selected by his or her peers. We are pleased to present this year's Matthew Ives Strength of Character Award to Annie Walsh. We would also like to acknowledge the students who received the President's Award for Educational Excellence. The President's Educational Award Program was established in 1983 and has provided individual recognition from the President and the U.S. Secretary of Education to those students whose outstanding efforts have enabled them to meet challenging standards of excellence. These students were recognized last week on Wednesday, May 29th, and received a certificate signed by the President of the United States, as well as the gold cords they are proudly displaying around their necks tonight. At this time, would all recipients of the Presidential Educational Award please stand and be recognized? Thank you. You may be seated.
South Middle School has an award-winning chorus. The students are incredibly dedicated and have done a great job all year. We are incredibly fortunate to have Dr. Smith leading this group out. Dr. Smith, would you please lead the chorus at this time?
Hey, 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 hey! Don't you come sing about me? I'll be alone, dancing, you know it, baby. Tell me your troubles and doubts, living everything inside and out. Love strings, so feeling the dark. We love the tender things that we are working on. So change, we promise apart. When the light gets into your don't you forget about me. Don't you forget about me. Will you stand on me? Will my way ever walk me? Rain keeps falling, rain keeps falling. Down, down, down. Will you recognize me? Call my name, never lie. Rain keeps falling, rain keeps falling. Down, down, down. Hey, 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 hey! Ooh. Don't you try to pretend it's not feeling in the end I know. Hard you touch your defenses and empty security. Don't you forget about me? Are we always in your baby? Don't you do it hard? All of us back together and hoping. Don't you forget about me? Don't you forget about me? If you are
At this time, I would like to ask Mr. Chung to come forward and address the 8th grade graduating class.
Dr. Jerome, Board of Education members, 8th grade students, student council officers, and speakers, thank you for being a part of tonight's celebration. At this time, we would like to recognize several groups. First, we would like to thank the South Middle School PTA. Thank you for all of your efforts. Next, I would like to thank our parents sitting in the audience. Thank you for all that you have done to make our 8th grade students who they are today. Thank you for your love, patience, support, and guidance that you have provided. 8th grade students, would you please rise and give your parents a round of applause? Riley Kingston, would you please stand? Riley is a very talented student, and his artwork is proudly displayed on the cover of your program. Thank you for all of your efforts. We would also like to recognize one staff member that will be leaving at the end of the year. Mrs. Elaine Rao will be retiring at the end of this year, and we wish her all of the best. Now, would all members of the South Middle School staff please stand? Thank you for your time and commitment to the education of our students. Thank you for always putting the interests and needs of our students first. Thank you for making our school a special place to be at and for assisting our 8th grade students on their journey. Thank you. First and foremost, it has been an honor and privilege to be your principal for the past 2 years. You have provided me with many incredible memories, like our pep rallies, the Pack the Pantry campaign, our community service projects, and watching you participate in the 50-plus clubs and activities at South Middle School. Witnessing your compassion, work ethic, friendship, perseverance, courage, and leadership has been incredibly rewarding. Over the past 2 years, I have witnessed a talented group of young adults coming together as a graduation class. More importantly, I saw firsthand how special each and every one of your graduates was to our school and how you internalized the meaning of the Cardinal Way. The special talents that each of you brought to our school helped to make our school such a dynamic place to be at, and it was incredible to see all of you pulling for one another to be successful. Tom Brokaw is one of my favorite journalists and is also the author of The Greatest Generation, which is one of my favorite books. Mr. Brokaw highlights many of the outstanding accomplishments that made our nation such a dynamic place, and I marveled at the countless examples of the greatness that was shared. I am confident that our 8th grade students that are seated before us here tonight are destined to do great things, and that we will be hearing many great things from you very shortly. While your journey from middle school is just about the end, the countless opportunities that will be presented before you are just about to begin. My advice to all of you is to seize those opportunities. Finally, I'd like to share one excerpt from one of my favorite books at this time of the year, Oh, the Places You'll Go by Dr. Seuss. You'll get mixed up, of course, as you already know. You'll get mixed up with many strange birds as you go. So be sure when you step with care and great tact, and remember that life's a great balancing act. Just never forget to be dexterous and deft, and never mix up your right foot with your left. And will you succeed? Yes, you will indeed. 98 3/4% guaranteed. South Middle School 8th graders, you'll move mountains. So be your name Caccini, Knack or Kay, or Glasgow, Matter, Shelton, or Walsh, you're off to great places, and today is your day. Your mountain is waiting, so get on your way. Congratulations on your graduation, and I wish you the best of luck as your next journey begins. Class of 2014, will you please stand? Please know that South Middle School will always be your home and that you are always welcome to come back home. Once a Cardinal, always a Cardinal. 8th grade students, please extend your arms with one another. Members of the audience, standing in front of you are South Cardinals, all together for the last time, wings spread, standing at the end of the nest. As these students leave tonight, they are, in reality, taking flight, with high hopes, flying into the future, wanting to make this world a better place. But always remember that whatever else you become, you will always be South Cardinals. Congratulations. As we distribute diplomas, please remember this is a dignified occasion, and we would appreciate if you would please hold your applause until all the graduates have received their diplomas. It is important for every parent to hear the name of his or her child being announced. Also, if you would wait until the graduates return to the lobby before you present them with flowers and other gifts. Tonight, reading the names of the students are Mr. Jeff Bussey, Mr. Greg Schultz, Mrs. Ellen Wayno, and Mrs. Rosanna Woldman.
Okay, we'll start with Ms. Dyer's home base. Madeline Taylor DeLuya. Jarrett D. Donato. Reese Fisher. Claudia Glasgow. Anton Groark. Jeremiah Hare. Maximilian Abada Aarons. Isabella Magdalena Janik. Nicole Kiefer. Sonny Leon. Sam Henry Lonard. Andrea Madrano. Connor Morrison. Sarah Marie Myers. Colin Priller. Ileana Ramos. Now Ms. Maruzik's home base. Cole Christian Altmeyer. Julia Sarah Conway. Juliellen Marie Day. Eric Holderith. John Kane. Salvador Lara III. Natalie Jean Marfilius. Ellison Kathleen Murphy. Julia Hope O'Connor. Gina Rose Pieri. Jack Pisers. Luke Reinhardt. Kat Sinnott. Melanie Marianne Tomes. Alexander Shen Wiesman. Now Mr. Zimmerman's home base. Miranda Nicole Edelman. Rebecca Nicole Bennick. Jack D'Onofrio. Kelsey Ann Giacchetti. Emily Kristen Noss. Ryan Lane. Alexander Earl Maxey. William V. Nelson. Wyatt Owen. Daniela Felicia Pacheco. Andrea Michelle Purchell. William Robert Resney. Nicole Marie Rabaki. Frederick Toure Singate. Sophia Isabel Torado. Jane Elizabeth Williams. Now Ms. Hyduk's home base. Claire D. Buden. Nicholas Caputo. Josh Carpenter. Taylor Elizabeth Chantry. Sean Doherty. Sydney Denny Kitzmiller. John Tyler Lichtenstein. Guadalupe Naranjo. Brandon Honori. Derek Walden Prusner. Matthew Edward Radis. Lillian Elaine Schober. Ian Simonson. Rachel Emily Steffen. Carly Tannhauser. Aurelie P. Valise. Now Miss Ruggles' home base. Jordan Martin Costable. Kevin Dempsey. Meg Goldberg. Madeline Elizabeth Grant. Emily Lasky. Stephanie J. Less. Elijah DJ Mahan. Skylar Ramsey Mexcatique. Amanda Osland. Chris Papa. John Anthony Picar. Maximilian Podkapo. Brandon Rucci. Colette Waldman Murray. Annie Walsh. Michael John Wolmerdorf.
And now Mr. Lendy's homeroom. Jacqueline Grace Brooks. Kate Chikuga. Colleen Doyle. Nathan Andrew Dunker. Olivia Hepko. Anna Johnston. John Patrick Keene. Megan Ladd. Timothy Lussenhop. Megan Meredith. Samuel L. Rossman. Ian Jeffrey Scardamai. Catherine Schreiber. Robert Schwall. Luke Vesley. Kelsey Wong. Now for Mrs. Phelan's home base. Natalie Rose Anderson. Bradley William Banke. Brittany Brown. Casey Robert Delyden. Brennan Stephen Keene. John Patrick Keeley. Sharice Raylyn Kendrick. Mallory Marie King. Ryan Corey. Ryan Joseph Marr. Julia Claire Miner. Alyssa Maria O'Connell. Melissa Lynn Spiewak. Rosa Weiss. Mrs. Locke's homeroom. Katrina M. Birnbaum. Katya Christina Benz, Allison Buck, Matthew John Dudek, Leo M. Garkish, Wesley John Peter Hoppy, Nicholas Adam Legowski, Faith Lundano, Annie McGinn, James Alexander Mackay, Grace Ann Kira McNamara, Zaid Saad Mohammed, Teresa Paleo, Caroline Ann Passmore, Caitlin Plyfa Rouse, Andrew Ryan Taveras, Rachel Villa, and now Mrs. Yacovelli's homeroom. Sripad Pulagila, Stephen Bauer, Rebecca Mary Burkhart, Sarah Biesterfeld, Ross T. Hageline, Charles David Hollyfield, Kaylin Malia Howard, Michael T. Holtberg, Antonia Dominique Martorelli, Matthew K. Nemoilik, Olivia Marie Mikulski, Chris Raffone, Sean George Williams Wiley, Shannon Julia Sang, Cole Lucian Struby, Alyssa Lauren Tager, Georgie Velikov, Lindsay Rose Frenzel,
Thank you. And now Mrs. Aiken's home base, Sean Patrick Burke, Christelle Therese Carmona, Emily Grace Cruz, Grace Elizabeth Erickson, Susanna Grace Abbott, Michaela Groh, Cameron Rainier Kelly, Patrick Kelly Dutile, Alexander Kopolis, Thomas Joseph Neal, Natalie Stahl, Shauna Ann Stokes, Andrew Zhidlo, Tess O. Troshek, Nicholas Andrew Wiltsey, Eric Zabak, George, and this is now Mrs. Radzak's home base, George T. Camp, Luke Jason Carson, Jack Wesley DeMeo, Caitlin Rose Harrington, Kaylee Hostler, Natalie Knack, Brandon Robert McAleer. Billy H. Saros. Joey Rago. Catherine Rodriguez. Aaron Schultz. Rocco Smerlio. Claire Abigail Struther. Francesco Michael Valenzano. Nicole Von Osen. And now we have Mrs. Daniels, home base. Samuel R. Hahn. Ryan James Klister. Alyssa Catherine Kubitz. Amanda Mama. Kevin John Maloney. Riley Mueller. Celia Colette Nicol. Melissa Ann O'Mara. Christina Petrillo. Ryan Thomas Toussaint. Ryan M. Vedner. Hannah Nicole Walker. And now we have Mrs. Sasso's home base. Wallace Tate Butler. Caitlin Caswell. Robert Cizek. Kaylin Hickey. William K. Isherwood. Molly Kathleen Manley. Megan Kelly McLaughlin. Grace Elizabeth Maloney. Madeline Nesbitt. Jake W. Pors. Brittany M.S. Ross. Colleen Stanford. Maddie Stotzenbach. Jack Terry. Mark Theodore Tortorelli. Matthew Vladimirov.
And now Ms. Zhang's home base. Kylie Brooke Boggs. Melissa Caccini. Justin Patrick Gelko. Willis J. Goodwin. Mark Andrew Helminski. Lindsay Houghton. Samantha Rosalia Lupo. Jillian Lee Palmer. Kaylin Rose Parrott. Patrick Schulten. Maximilian Sokowitz. Robert Strobel. Sebastian V. Tomey. Connie Vong. Petula Walsh Grant. Megan Zong. And now Mrs. Dixon's home base. Jeremy T. Boyle. Ryan Christopher Carney. Jessica Havanyets. Jordan Marie Duchesne. Karina Ferrer. Jeffrey John Hilbert. Nathan Lungu. Sarah Mueller. Grace O'Keefe. Benjamin Riddler. Erica Lauren Schickerling. Anthony B. Silva. Ryan Joseph Smith. Sophia Rose Speedy. Nikolai Sislak. And now for Mr. Newtek's home base. Rose M. Barros. Jack Barry. Santino Bianchi. Nayeli Campos. Anthony V. Catalano. Abigail Grace Cullen. Francesca Guelli. Jason Eric Hayes. Jessica Jimenez. Grace Catherine Coe. Zachary T. Matters. Samuel Park. Maximilian G. Poslick. Raji Ravindran. Jenna Sasson. And now Mr. McTagg's home base. Haley Joy Bolathon. Abigail Sitterman. Marisol Cruz. Nicholas Marcel Aguirre. G. Mitchell Fox. Hannah Joyce. Drew K. Riley Adam Kingston. Patricia Cotwis. Miranda Lubke. Abigail Susan Miner. Luke Robert Nordman. Abigail Owen. Nathan Ryan Pardini. Kathleen Lee Shaughnessy. And now Mrs. Drevlin's home base. Mariah Alcazar. David Gerald DeSalvo. Abigail Flagg. David Bruschetska. Sydney Holter. Manuel Alonzo Arungare. Ivan Kachin. Eric Stephen Meyer. Beth H. Michael. Natalie Miodowski. Aaron E. Nielsen. Jack Connor Papadia.
Antonio Puya. Olivia Spooner. Noah Gerhard Brian Walter. Samuel Michael Feldy.
Class of 2014, would you please stand? Parents, family members, staff, and honored guests, please help me in acknowledging the graduating class of South Middle School. Congratulations. Thank you.